All right, welcome back to the channel. So Jaron Ennis will get knocked out by Virgil Ortiz because he's not ready, according to Robert Garcia. In fact, he says that he knows it for a fact. I don't like to go against Hall of Fame level trainers often, but man, I think you're selling some wolf tickets there. And I think the exact opposite is true. But let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, and we are once again going to be talking about these welterweights. Not a lot of stuff going on in boxing as far as the fights coming up this weekend. So, you know, hardcore boxing fans are always looking forward to what the next big fights are going to be, because unfortunately in these times of boxing, that's really what kind of carries us through. But at least in this instance, we are talking about two fighters that are absolutely terrific fighters, and two fighters that I believe will be the best in their weight division. I don't see anybody coming up from 140 or anybody that is at 147 right now being able to, in say 2 years, be able to beat Virgil Ortiz or beat Jaron Ennis. So when Robert Garcia was asked in an interview what he thought about Virgil Ortiz versus Jaron Ennis, he says, "Oh, we're going to knock him out." Right? And then a little bit later, somebody came back and asked Robert Garcia, by the way, if you don't know, Robert Garcia is the trainer of Mikey Garcia. He's the son, I do believe, of Eduardo Garcia, who also trained Fernando Vargas. They are a world-renowned boxing family that operates, I do believe, out of the state of California, and is the trainer of Virgil Ortiz, who is a up-and-coming welterweight from the Dallas, Texas area. Talking about Virgil Ortiz and saying that Virgil Ortiz is one of the best young fighters is what people have been talking about for a while now. In fact, Virgil Ortiz, in his last fight against Maurice Hooker, after that fight, Robert Garcia said that he believed that Virgil Ortiz was ready to fight Terrence Crawford now, and that he was ready to beat Errol Spence Jr. But those guys aren't really available right now, so why push it? You know, within give him 2 years, and without a doubt, he's going to run through all those guys. When Robert Garcia said that, I thought to myself, nah, I don't know if he's ready, if he can beat Terrence Crawford right now, Virgil Ortiz, because Virgil Ortiz looked a little bit vulnerable in the fight with Maurice Hooker, in that he got the stoppage from Maurice Hooker because Maurice Hooker got injured. I don't have a problem with calling that a knockout, because really, if you punch a guy on his elbow or you punch a guy in his arm and his arm gets hurt and you exasperate an injury or aggravate an injury, hey man, you did it with a punch. That's part of it. The guy couldn't continue. TKO, knockout, whatever it is, man. The guy couldn't continue, and it was directly related to the beating that Virgil Ortiz was putting on him. So all in all, from that performance, I thought highly of Virgil Ortiz. I thought he got a veteran out of there. And, you know, Maurice Hooker is a very solid fighter and has a good trainer in Bomac, had a really great camp. So, hey, man, full credit for beating Maurice Hooker. I wasn't somebody that was saying that he looked tremendously suspect or anything like that. But I will say this. Although it might be reasonable for Robert Garcia to say that he believes in a couple years that Virgil Ortiz will dominate the guys that he currently sees at 147 pounds, I don't think that there is I don't think there's a snowball's chance in HE double hockey sticks that he's going to dominate Jaron Ennis, just looking at the way that he fought Maurice Hooker. If that was Jaron Ennis that Virgil Ortiz was fighting, I think Virgil Ortiz gets beat up real bad. I don't think he'll ever really find Jaron Ennis. I think Jaron Ennis's mobility and his defense is going to keep that dude off balance. The fact that he switches from southpaw to orthodox so smoothly, and the fact that Jaron Ennis is a heavy puncher, and I think a heavier puncher than Virgil Ortiz is. So just off the cuff, looking at how Maurice Hooker fought him, I honestly, man, I can't see it at all. And I definitely can't see where he says that Jaron Ennis isn't ready for Ennis. Because really, I think Jaron Ennis is ready for everybody at 147 pounds based off what I saw in the ring. Because This guy has an exceptional style. He has exceptional talent, but he also has exceptional skill. Now, that's not me saying that I don't believe that Virgil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis, that would not be a good fight, that it wouldn't be a competitive fight. You know, I can't say that for sure. I think Virgil Ortiz is going to be a stronger fighter, physically stronger fighter than most of the guys at the top of 147 pounds. At the same time, I think the same thing is the case with Jaron Ennis. But Virgil Ortiz is a very strong fighter, and he has a very, very, very good style, right? Or a very, very good camp. Problem is, and I say this all the time, in the type of style that Virgil Ortiz has, without getting into a great description of it, if you put him in with, say, a B-plus level American fighter, say somebody that's a hit and don't get hit type fighter, somebody that's fighting on the outside, somebody that you need to cut the ring off and really try to go with their body, wear them down. If you have a B-plus type fighter like that, A-plus level or an A level, or maybe even a B-plus level, the same level of a fighter in the style that Virgil Ortiz fights in, will beat that guy. The problem comes in when you deal with A-plus athletes that have an A-plus version of that skill. In that case, when I've seen it, Virgil Ortiz style gets shut down pretty much all the time because he's not going to be able to cut the ring off. He doesn't have the hand speed, he may have the power to discourage a Jaron if he can get him. However, Jaron has the power to make Virgil Ortiz think about everything twice. If you're going to come in and you're going to say you want to try to get on the inside, you want to really start trying to exchange with him, you don't got the power. If Jaron Ennis can slip your punches and land his in that type of exchange, Virgil Ortiz is the one that's going to get knocked out. Just because of the variety of styles. And similar to when you fight somebody like a Terrence Crawford, watching Terrence Crawford fights, it's almost like there's two different Terrence Crawfords, distinct different Terrence Crawfords in that fight when you're fighting them. There's the orthodox attacking Terrence Crawford, where the way that he will sometimes start the fight or start really trying to heat up in the orthodox stance. If he's having any difficulties in the orthodox stance, he will switch to his defensive stance in southpaw and then pretty much just pot shot you, throw you off, and then wait for an opportunity to catch you with something. And then he's going to switch, once he's got you hurt, back into the orthodox, and then is going to try to run through you. At least that's the game plan that I've seen, at least, at a high level, carried out by Terrence Crawford in a fight. But the problem with a Jaron Ennis is that Jaron Ennis, the two different types of Jaron Ennis that I see is a fully developed offensive and defense orthodox fighter and a fully developed defensive and offensive southpaw fighter. The guy has power, equal power in both hands, and he attacks people out of the southpaw stance from the get-go. I mean, from his time that he changes, he's not waiting for an opportunity for you to get hurt in the southpaw stance to jump back to orthodox. He can hurt you and attack you on the southpaw stance, and his volume of punches is way higher than Terrence Crawford. So I just see, maybe Virgil Ortiz is ready for Terrence Crawford because quite honestly, Terrence Crawford's got an Achilles heel. It's called an Achilles chin. And people have wobbled it before. A lot of fighters have been wobbled. So I've seen Canelo wobbled. I've seen Floyd Mayweather wobbled. A whole bunch of people get wobbled. So that most definitely can happen. However, the fact that he's open when he's throwing punches, you can catch him. People can catch him in the middle of those. And Virgil Ortiz being that big, that strong, and also having a very linear style, he doesn't have a lot of stuff. He's not hooking out wide. He's not having a loose defense, any of that stuff. That can capitalize on Terrence Crawford. But with Jaron Ennis, I don't see it happening. So even the fact that Robert Garcia said, yeah, I can tell you that as a fact. Nah, you can't tell me that as a fact, not with that level of talent. In fact, I have a suspicion that you're going to keep Virgil Ortiz as far away from Jaron Ennis as you can until that fight is so big that you can't avoid it for the money. However, that's my take on the matter. You could have a different opinion. Please share it in the comment section. respectfully. And more than likely, I'll respond to your comment if I can get to it. But anyway, let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.